I used to be among the dollar class back then, like one of the dollar students. Like second to the last is my position. So I won't take last. I won't take first. So, but that second to the last, just leave me there. I'm always the landlord there. Yes. So now Cuba has made us to have different streams of income.
I could eat 5 times a day. But now, separation of power and its impact on Nigerian politics linked to electoral reform.
You can't talk about separation of power without affiliating it or linking up to checks and balance, but they work hand in hand. If the president go contrary to his power, the judiciary and also the legislative arm of government have the power to call him back to order. The president has captured other arms of government, making it ineffective. Imagine a president that belongs to the executive arm of government is not the one appointing the chief justice. What do you expect?
What can you make of it? Should we go back to the parliamentary system or continue with this?
This separation of power, if being used judiciously, is very, very effective. They've learned their mistake, and what they are trying to do right now, they're trying to cater for the need, for the welfare of the citizens.
Are you certain of this? Because they are politicians.
No, these are strategies. I have this strong belief that they're going to do everything within their power to make sure that at least they buy the people trust again.
A term is supposed to be 4 years, right?
Yes.
So once it's complete, he's done with that term. Let him go. I don't think it's necessary for him to do 8 years. Where is that mentality even coming from?
4 years cannot sort out Nigeria's problem.
If you say 4 years cannot sort out Nigerian problem, you are wrong. Yeah. A day, say you can sort Nigerian problem in a day.
Wow.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode on LYTE Africa Podcast, where we talk about exciting, thrilling, educating, and informative content. I am your host for today, Doyin Keposh, and with me on today's show is the extraordinary Emmanuel. Emmanuel, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
What's up?
I'm good.
How have you been? How are you doing?
Chilling.
We've got this today, right?
Yeah, sure. We are going to be exploding.
All right. Okay, and we are not alone on today's show. We have our guest here, Mr. Peter Bartholomew. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't know if I got that.
Hey, you tried now.
I tried, right? Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming again.
Yes.
Because we once had you and you are here again to, be with us. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
So, on today's show, before we get into the main topic for today, right, we'll be talking about, the past months of 2025, the first half, how it has been, how we've been faring, what you think about the first half of the year. Well, starting from me, I would say the year has been quite busy. Yes, the year has been busy,
Making money.
Emmanuel, please. Emmanuel, don't tease me. But then, I've been trying to get to know new things, get to meet people, trying to balance a lot of things, that's happening with me, and exciting at the same time. Yeah. Yes.
So you don't want to share your highs, your lows.
Well, I'll still talk about that, but okay. It has been exciting, about myself, my family, and most especially my friends. Yes, people close to me, I owe them in high regards, and they've been accomplishing a lot, and I'm this kind of person that when somebody is achieving something, is accomplishing something, I would be genuinely happy. I'm not saying this to look good though, don't say you get, but
that's actually great.
No, they've been exploring, they've been doing great, and I'm sincerely happy for them. But with me, Emmanuel, it's been really busy. I'm not going to lie.
Making money.
Emmanuel, it's not about the money. Getting to learn new things, being involved in this, and at the same time, trying to catch up with another thing. Yeah. You get, it's a lot. I'm still, in the process of growing. Let me say it that way. Sure. You get, so I won't say I have it all smooth yet. Yeah. So busy and just that. So how about you, Emmanuel?
Wow, my own first half of the year has been mixed.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had my highs and my lows. I think relocating and also changing my place of work really had this great shift in me, meeting new set of students, new colleagues and the likes, and having new neighbors around. You get that kind of feeling. Learning from people that you've never met before. Yes. And I've built this kind of relationship with the new set of people I've met. In fact, I was trying to reflect on my former pupils and students. I was
Okay.
finding it difficult to even remember faces because I've gone so deep with this new set of
ones,
children that we are
okay.
doing so great.
Together.
So great. And something happened on Thursday. We're having this science exhibition in my class.
Okay.
No, in my school rather. And my children did so well. Like, we
Okay.
didn't plan so
More
well.
than you expected.
But when they came, they did so well that everybody was just wowed. And I was so happy. I was so excited.
Mr. Peter, please, what would you say about the first half of the year?
And the first half of the year has been very tremendous. I thank God Almighty, because although it has not been easy based on the economic situation or the economic meltdown of the country,
Yeah.
but we are doing our best to see how to cope with this. Should I call him Kubu allegedly? You understand? According to one woman on TikTok, this Kubu regime. You understand? So it has been very okay, shiny. At least you are learning new things, new challenge, and new ways of life. Because unlike before, whereby one can comfortably, like, probably foot one or two beats, but now you have to like embark on stringent measure. So like the economist said, he was like, all these things you're trying to like see how to balance the equation.
Yeah.
So now you have to like know how to see how to be possible. Measure everything you do, not just spend extravagantly. But it's really nice. At least it's helpful to
But
us. Because unlike before, whereby you just focus on only one stream. So now Cuba has made us to have different streams of income. So it's a nice experience, anyways.
Yeah, well, it's actually, for me too, it's been, a lot, a student that I am, coping with living and, oh God, all of that. It's been a lot. When I first came to higher institution, when I first resumed, before I now came back for my second degree, it was a lot better. Emmanuel, I could eat 5 times a day. Serious, I'm not exaggerating. But now,
how many times now?
Well, I still thank God too, but then I can't compare it to what I was doing then. You get, so, but I'm still thankful. I'm still thankful, and regardless, we still have the second half of the year to explore, to do things, to get to try new things, and we don't know what it has in stock for us. You get, so we should just be hopeful. And I'm sure our viewers are out there to have one or two to say about the first half of the year.
Sure.
They definitely have something to say. But in all, I just want us to be hopeful and always, strive for the best. You never can tell. This is the half of the year. It's not the end of the year, and it is not the end of the world. Yes, you still have great things to do. So believe in yourself. Don't just give up. Don't give up. I'll tell you that. So, to the main show of today, talking about today's topic. Well, it's a topic that has to do with, the country as a whole. It has to do with our country, Nigeria. And the topic says separation of power and its impact on Nigerian politics linked to electoral reform. Emmanuel, did you get that?
So deep.
Did you get that?
I got it.
Mr. Peter, did you get our topic? It's a lot, right?
Yes, it's a lot.
Okay, yes. So separation of power. Talking about separation of power, what do we mean by separation of power? Well, I would say it's when, power is being balanced in the country, to allow for effective running. But with what I've heard and with what I've seen, allegedly, it's been said that the present administration is being accused of, not having a balanced power in the country. Yes, that is what I've seen with, people's view. They believe that the current administration has not been allowing for balanced, proper running of and sharing of power among the arms of, government. And I think it's kind of leading to a one-party system also. Allegedly.
Not allegedly. Okay, I'm not supposed to add allegedly. The country is turning to a one-party system.
Really? Is that what you think?
Yes. If you're having APC in more than 20
Wait, Emmanuel, let's start
states.
with separation of power. Do you think the powers are being separated efficiently?
In Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria.
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Peter, please, what would you say about the separation of power in Nigeria currently?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the privilege to speak on these topical issues that affect the country, Nigeria at large. Now we can't talk about separation of power without affiliating it or linking up to checks and balance.
Okay.
You know, so because they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Now, first, I'll begin by like defining what separation of power simply means. Is division of governmental power into different segments, like into different arms of
Arms of
government, rather,
government.
like the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Whereby the legislature they make the laws of the country.
Yeah.
The judiciary that are there to interpret these laws that is being made by the legislature. And after the interpretation, who executes the law or implements the laws are the executive. So that which means that each of these arm of government have equal power, equal rights. The reason why people see the president as being what's called autocratic, or better still as the one that has the most power, because the president belongs to the executive arm of government, called the fact that the president performs what we call the ceremonial functions. But I put it up to you that if the president go contrary to his power, the judiciary and also the legislative arm of government have the power to call him back to order, or better still, even move for an impeachment process. Like, my interest to know that in the law, like we have probably a section in the constitution that stipulate that, I guess it's section 145 of the 1999 constitution, which stipulate that if the president embark on what we call like a violation of power or is going contrary to his power, the 2/3 of the house can vote and he can be removed from office. So it's not as if, that's why we check most times, you see the APC government, like what your colleague here rightly said, the APC are striving hard to make sure that at least their members are occupying what's called like major seats in that what's called that particular and the essence of separation of power has not been accomplished because there is no proper checks and balance. Now, the principle of separation of power, what's called embraces checks and balance, in the sense that three of us, let's take for instance, you belong to the executive, the president, I'm the judiciary. Why you are the legislature, which simply means that if he's not doing well, it's my duty for me to checkmate it. And likewise, if I'm not doing well, I can checkmate him. And also, the president has monopolized all the power to himself. So you could imagine the chief justice of the country is being appointed by the president, which is we belong to the judicial arm of government.
But is it supposed to be so?
It's not
according to our law.
According to the law, it's not supposed to be so. But for the fact that Nigeria has been, like, the judicial system has been partisan this time around, like it seems they've turned what's called the system of government into monarchical system of government. Monarchical system means that when you have just the what's it called, the king and the queen. So inherited. So most of these judges now, what they do is that once they are there, they know fully well that they won't remain there forever. So retirement might set in and all that. So they bring in their children. So most of their children are now going, like they're not going to learn what's called law, just to make sure at least once they are leaving they replace them. Will be able to take even in Lagos State, I have a friend, Barrister Godwin Esther, because he told me he was supposed to be in court as I did before yesterday. So the court he wanted to go to, it was a magistrate court. The magistrate there happens to be the son of the judge of Lagos. Wow! So you could imagine that. Have you seen
it's like running a family business?
Yes, running a family business. Even the so-called legislative arm of government that how to have been probably a watchdog, have been the one that can be checkmating the activities of Tinubu, are the ones singing praises. Could imagine praises that mandate shall stand. I don't know.
Wait, are we going to say this? Are we going to say they are scared of what the president might do to them, or what's causing this bias?
Now, what's causing the bias is the bias system of government. Because the fact that, like I said before, I've been issue, the president has captured other arms of government, making it ineffective. Could imagine, like talking about the judicial system, they ought to be the one to appoint the chief justice by themselves. But then you could imagine a president that belongs to the executive of government is not the one appointing the chief justice. What do you expect? Now come to what's it called, to the legislative system of government, which is the Senate, both the upper chamber and the lower chamber. It's been it's been occupied by majorly the APC members. So which means that if anything is being passed, like now, for instance, motion of impeachment is being brought to that table. There's no way you can get favorable votes. You understand? Because the APCs are there. They've captured it.
Looking at it now, power has been, concentrated in the executive arm of government. It has been fused. So are we saying it has affected smooth running or balancing of power in the country?
Yes, like the fusion of power, has really affected us. It has brought in what we call the negative impact. Because it has no positive impact at all.
Wow.
Because our power has been like concentrated on only one arm of government, making the other two arms of government to be ineffective. Like I said, I have an issue. The essence of separation of power is to embrace what we call the checks and balances.
Yeah.
Now, what is this checks and balances? Each arm of government should serve as a watchdog to each other. Like, for instance, if the judiciary is not doing well, the executive can call the judiciary to order. And likewise, the executive is not doing well, the legislature can call the executive to order. But in Nigeria today now, if you check the House of Senate, it has been captured by the executive. You hear them singing, on your mandate we shall stand. So, what do you expect in such a situation?
Wow.
Then now look at the judiciary aspect of it. As at 2023, now I told you I have been issue now that there was a tribunal whereby some judges they sat down to check if there was any electoral malpractice and the rest or so. But the judgment was passed in favor of what's called Tinubu. Now let me even throw your mind back. It might interest to know that APC did not give Akpabio Centuria's ticket. But he sued, you understand? He later won, even as much as he lost the primaries, which stipulates in our constitution that once you've lost the primary, you're not eligible to contest.
For
you understand?
election.
But he I don't know how he managed to maneuver his way down to what's called the House of Senate. He's there now, allegedly. You understand? So what am I trying to say in a sense that if probably the three arms of government were working effectively in the sense that I'm independent, you are independent, I don't think what's called Tinubu will be doing what he's doing today. Because he knows that there is every room for impeachment. Like I said, once 2/3 of the House move the motion for impeachment, so be it, you understand? But as it stands, you know fully well that the judiciary is the one that appointed those persons there. Now come to the the legislature. APCs are there, you understand? And the Senate president happens to be an APC member. So now who do you table it to? There's nothing we can do about it. So that's why I said the main essence of the separation of power has not been accomplished. Unlike in the US, we are like practicing the US system as well. US is very effective. There you see the president going in for one or two offense. But in Nigeria here today, I'm telling you, Tinubu will be beating his chest. Take it to court. I'm there. You understand? I'll be waiting for you there. So that's just it.
So let's trace it back now. According to history, we gained independence 1960. Then we practiced the parliamentary system for like
Let's say
19 years. So in 1979, we now moved to the presidential system where we have these three arms of government. So Nigeria actually started practicing the separation of power from the year 1979. So before then, we had the parliamentary system where we had a prime minister.
Yes.
So what can you make of it? Should we go back to the parliamentary system or continue with this?
No, I won't advise you go back to the parliamentary system of government. I still prefer the presidential system of government over parliament.
Why? Is there a reason?
Yes, there's a reason. Because this separation of power, if being used judiciously, it's very, very effective.
But we are not using it well in our country.
And that is why we are now clamoring for electoral reform. You understand? Because once there's electoral reform, because we check now, the INEC chairman is being appointed by the sitting president. That is why it's very difficult for you to dethrone or remove a sitting president through what's called electoral process. Because I can't appoint you as the electoral chairman or INEC chairman for instance, and maybe during an election, no matter I know the result already. Even all this one is just formality. You understand? So I just believe that once the separation of power is being we should strive as much as we can to bring it back to the original state. But it's very difficult. That is why this young man, Peter, is it Randy Peter, right?
Yes.
Clamoring for this electoral reform. That's the best solution. To at least to mitigate or to rather curtail the power of the president. We can't actually beat Tinubu to his game, but you can actually reduce his power to some extent.
Now, based on what you said, how is the electoral reform going to make an impact in this separation of power? Like, what are those areas or the loopholes that needs to be filled?
Okay, now the loophole number one is that we need to strengthen the arm of government. You understand? By setting some laws, try to enact some laws in the sense that makes the judiciary being independent. and likewise the legislature being independent as well. That's number one. Then number two, electoral process in the sense that the INEC chairman himself should not be appointed by the president.
So who should appoint the INEC chairman?
It's an independent body, you understand? Maybe other arms of government can do that. Because INEC is a body on its own.
Yeah.
Or it's not part of the what's called the arms actually.
Yes.
It's a body on its own. So probably the judiciary can say, okay, let's elect or appoint this person to be the INEC what's called the chairman. Like I said previously, I told you that the judiciary are not supposed to be partisan.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be independent. That means they don't support any party at all. Whether PDP or APC or the proposed one that they have now is ADC, right?
ADC,
It's African Democratic Congress.
Yeah.
They don't support any party. So they can just say, okay, you be the INEC chairman. You understand, for this election. But if their electoral reform is not accomplished, I don't think it is possible for us to remove Tinubu from there. Or what you just like we're just playing around.
Wow.
I think this is what these people are having in thought, and it's going to bring us to talk about the coalition.
Yeah.
You know, I to me it looks like they are trying to, take away this ruling party away from seats.
Yeah.
That is what it looks like to me. And sir, do you think this is going to work? This coalition of a thing?
And the thing is that with the way they are going right now, because just like big, like all this, they say when the elephant are fighting, is the ground that suffers. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, if you check you see some prominent men from different parties. From PDP, from Labour, like likes of Peter Obi, the Atiku, the El-Rufai, the Amici, and others. You understand? Trying to merge now to dethrone the what's called the city party. Like I always tell people, your best teacher is your last mistake. Those persons, because I had the conversation with a friend of mine, he was telling me that, do you think coalition is the best option right now? No. I told him to some extent, yes, that is 95% yes. But it still depends on the electoral reform. If the electoral reform process is not accomplished, I don't think there's any chance for we to remove Tinubu from there. Even if probably we vote against him, there's every tendency that they're going to rig it. You understand? But if there's electoral reform whereby the INEC chairman is being changed and the electoral process is being transformed, once vote is you can go into electronic what's called system of votes. But as you are voting, it's counting immediately. Yeah. And the results should not slip over, and not like the last one they did. All of us were sleeping
almost
a week, and we're even sleeping.
Yeah.
I was sleeping. I just woke up in the morning. I just saw the news headline. Yeah, Tinubu. You understand? I couldn't say anything. You understand? So because it's in our constitution, once election is done and concluded, the ballot paper should be counted immediately. Yeah. And results should be announced. So I would suggest that electoral reform should be embraced wholeheartedly.
So it should be the main thing now.
Should be the main thing of that coalition. Now coalition, they are doing their own part. But we as Nigerians now, we have a role to play. Like I said, these people are also scared of us. Like what was this man's I've forgotten that this is DG also. DG. He said something that if we are going for what's called like protest, for instance, unlike in the US, once they are doing protests in the US or other developed countries or states, they don't move. Anybody that is coming back from work, that person will be dealt with decisively. Yeah. But in Nigeria now, this Peter Aranja has been clamoring for what electoral reform, because that's the best and possible solution ever. So it's not left for we now, the citizens, to agitate for electoral reform. Because even with that coalition, they should merge together. I don't think they can move to, because he knows very well that the NH chairman is my person. You guys are forming coalition for crying out loud.
The judiciary is my person.
Judiciary is my person. So how far? You know, how do you go about it? But if there's electoral reform whereby the NH chairman now is independent, you know, so different from probably is a non-partisan. He's not supporting Tinubu, he's not supporting the coalition. There's every tendency that aim and objective will be accomplished. But on the ground of the candidate, they're also projecting again. But with Nigerians, we have this mentality that this man has done this before. There's every tendency he cannot go back, which is Atiku. That if Atiku comes out to be the front runner or the flag bearer, you cannot vote for him. I believe in this adage that state that your last mistake is your best teacher. You understand? So this person is forming coalition. Not some of them are from PDP. Some people are saying just try to rebrand the name again. They see their tips. Not knowing that they've learned from that mistake, because none of them thought that APC He's going to take over this long. And now I like gaining ground in Nigeria, whereby most people are now defecting towards APC. Go to other states, like what you said, that been issue. More than 20 states right now have been occupied by the APC. Go to the House of Senate, both the lower chamber and the upper chamber. APC are the ones occupying there. So the best way right now is that if we are able to what's called a merge as winner for 2027 election, I believe they're going to do better because they won't want to go back again. You understand? Knowing fully that there's electoral reform. So this time around is not like non-partisan system of government, and also there's no partiality here. The person is the INEC chairman is independent, but now as it stands, Tinubu is the one appointing INEC chairman. So I don't think anything like coalition will go along.
So you feel that Atiku should be the front runner?
No, if no Nigerians, we have this mentality. Like if you have stolen before now, I mean you've repented. I was simply having that mindset. Are you sure this?
But that should be the way I should see you now. You steal my
no
items. I should still see you that way.
No, okay, let me just tell one brief story. Like I could remember when I was still growing up back then, you understand, when I was in primary school. I used to be among the dollars in class back then, like one of the dollar students. Like second to the last is my position. So don't drag it with me, you understand? But
Wow.
So I won't take last. I won't take what's it called first. So, but that second to the last, just leave me there. I'm always the landlord there. So now when I came back to Ikorodu precisely after so many years away, because I schooled in Calabar, University of Calabar. Okay. So the first day I was meant to talk in the youth, like we were having youth meeting that day. So I stood up. One of my primary school classmates. So she had to look back and say, is this Peter? You understand? No, but it's not as if she just to us, Peter. Like she shook her, she was in shock. Whosoever the coalition was called the party are projecting, we Nigerians, we should. I don't think there's any government that will be as bad as this terrible. Let me use the word terrible as this APC regime.
Wow. So you feel Tinubu regime has been terrible.
Very terrible.
We've had people come on this show
and they're in support of this present regime.
Now, why are they supporting Tinubu? Because we check right now, it's not in favor of the masses. I know every what's called system of what's called probably regime might be favorable to you, but in this Tinubu regime right now, this is a regime whereby we are experiencing what's called technical recession.
Mr. Peter, so looking at it now, are you saying the electoral reform will be necessary for free and fair election?
Yes, the electoral reform is not as if it's going to be like 100% guarantee, you understand? But 70 or 80%, it will mitigate electoral malpractice, you understand? Just like, for instance, like I said before, even the person you are putting there is also a human being. So that person might have probably a particular party he or she has in mind that maybe like supporting on that ground. He might not want to declare his probably like support openly, knowing fully that it's an independent body and is non-partisan with whatsoever he's doing. We can mitigate it, but we cannot eradicate it completely. But if there is electoral reform, I still feel that the coalition, what's called group, which is the ADC, has a very strong, has a very strong chance of emerging.
So are you predicting 2027 election results?
Already, I'm ADC already. You know, see, like as a last election, I was with Tinubu, considering his track record.
Okay.
But I never knew that. Well, this Tinubu regime.
But people still have good hopes about this man.
There is no good hopes, you understand. Like I said, thank God, at least your colleague happens to be an economist, so you should know the what's called like the economic indicators. Also, like when you are approaching recession, like the fuel prices, the fuel price, the consumption level, the war and inflation, and many more like that. Nigeria are facing all these problems as it stands right now. So with all these indicators, that means Nigeria is technically recessed. So are you trying to tell me that Tinubu regime is now favorable and people are enjoying the regime?
But let's come to facts now. Let's come to facts. Tax reform. Somebody with the kind of caliber that the cabals cannot control. Don't you think this current president fits what Nigeria really wants? Like, he's somebody that other people cannot just control, like the past presidents we've been having.
Okay, do you know what? Like, a Nigerian was interviewed some years ago. I've forgotten that man's name. The man said, "Bring back our corruption." so that I'll fit chop. Like a poor mass, you understand? Don't saying like he's one of the rich elites out there. Like just like an average Nigerian was like during the time of Goodluck Jonathan. At least the government were eating and the masses were also eating. Now you are saying that you have like the former president said he was fighting corruption.
Yeah.
For like to a particular group, and once you leave that group and you come to this particular group, that means that you are safe. Like they say, they'll tell you that your sins are forgiven. If I steal money under PDP now, and I know that the ruling party happens to be APC member, which is the president, once I get to APC, automatically my sins are forgiven. Now all the money that they have been recovering from Abacha loot up till date, they've not been able. Look at the CBN.
But they'll tell you the student loan.
Who student loan is not effective.
It's not effective.
You are a student, right?
Yes.
Have you got any student loan?
Actually, yes, it is. It is real.
It is.
But yes, but I actually
No,
didn't
like
apply.
to you now, have you
I
gotten
didn't
the
apply.
money?
You have to apply to get it.
No, you are just saying that it's effective. You have to apply. Until somebody apply, that's when I will know that the student loans it's effective.
Yes,
You know people who
of
have done
course,
it.
yes.
No,
They
apart
have
from-
benefited from it.
I understand. But like, if probably you are ruling a particular country, there's some things you need to put into cognizance. Aside the aspect of let's say like the corruption and the rest of soon, you need to be aware of the welfare. Like this, what's this ADC? I don't know, because they can come with cheap clothing. At the end of the day, they turn to another. But like I said before, the way I'm saying it right now, they've learned their mistakes, and what they are trying to do right now, they're trying to cater for the need for the welfare of the citizens.
Are you certain of this? Because from the last meeting they had and the songs they were singing something like ADC don't come, APC go away, something like that. So it means that their mindset is just to take out the current government, not even looking at the citizens' welfare.
No, like see,
they are all politicians.
no, these are strategies. The APC, like ADC don't come. That was how APC came with broom.
To wipe
I
out
said that they've come to wipe out PDP. Now ADC now just trying to use their own strategy to remove what's called the APC from seats. Now it's not as if they are after their own selfish interest, because as far as I'm concerned, it's also affecting them. Government policies also affect them.
Sure.
Because most of them are importers. They have companies out there. You understand? So their company might not be having favorable what's called importation because of this high tariff, and the case may be. So now it's also affecting those big men out there. It's not as if it's just only the poor people. The poor are the ones coming out to cry that we are suffering and the rest. The big men will never cry. Big men cry silently, but you won't know. So now why they're saying that, okay, now they have come to remove the ADC, because it also, so the APC is going to be of benefit to them and also the masses at large. Because they know they have heard the cries of the masses. And I believe that once ADC assume power, they won't want to be dethroned again by that same APC. You know, at first, PDP were seeing themselves as this autonomous, that they were like the almighty, not knowing that APC came with a very good strategy to remove them. So they thought that maybe the election is going to be business as usual. You come with your this, we're still going to remain there as he was the president. But little did they know that APC were coming to stay. So now they've learned that lesson. So what they're trying to do now is that they're trying to remove APC from seats. And once they assume that, I have this strong belief that they're going to do everything within their power to make sure that at least they buy the people trust again. Because the people have lost trust in both parties, both the PDP and the APC. Even the so-called Labour Party, people are still having doubts in Peter Obi. And some persons out there cannot vote for Peter Obi. They say, Naibo man. And what is killing Nigerians out there is this issue of tribalism. That's really key though. Like now, for instance, now I'm from Edo, but all the Edos that be seen, not sure I'm trying to praise the Edos. They have high integrity, high rate of integrity, because they don't. You can hardly see an Edo man compromise. An Edo man is naturally stubborn. So to penetrate the heart, you have to be very rigid as well. So now you are from Yoruba, and we having Yoruba candidate, we having Hausa candidate, and we also have what's called the Igbos. You understand? Now I know very well. Okay, being a Yoruba man, for instance, so this Hausa is more competent than the Yoruba man. But for the fact that he's my brother, let the person remain there, and it's affecting us. It's high time we need to leave this aspect of tribalism and face reality. Where can we get results from? If the Igbos can give us results, then let's go for the Igbos. If the Hausas can give us results, let's go for the Hausas. But the reason why people are scared of the Igbo, because they are scared of this secession. They are scared of secession in the sense that Biafra stuff, you understand? So
but don't you think that this is going to destabilize the country we having a government ruling 4 years, having another one coming in. Just like when we had Jonathan's period. Jonathan only ruled for like one term. He was acting president for a while before becoming the president. So now, if we have Tinubu for 4 years and somebody takes charge in 2027, is the person not going to try making so many reforms, changing some things?
Policies.
And this is going to be affecting we as citizens. So some people said that the best thing is let's leave this man to complete his 8 years. Then we have another set of persons coming in.
But Emmanuel, why should it be 8 years? A term is supposed to be 4 years, right?
Yes.
So once he's done with that term, let him go. I don't think it's necessary for him to do 8 years. Where is that mentality even coming from?
4 years cannot sort out Nigeria's problem. We know that. We have so many problems and challenges here and there.
No,
so somebody coming 4 years.
If you say 4 years cannot sort out Nigerian problem, you are wrong here. A day itself can sort Nigerian problem in a day.
Wow.
Okay, now it was not a day that Tinubu brought us to these states. That we are that he announced that removal of subsidy OT law that is gone. You understand? So that was the beginning of our problems. And I like this.
So you don't support fuel subsidy?
I don't support that. See, you ought to have done what we call the partial removal. You need just remove something like once. Completely. Good Luck also embarked on it. Remove it partially. To I guess 95 naira, if I'm not mistaken. When Buhari came, Buhari removed it partially by taking it to 180 something, if I'm not mistaken. Then you just came and
you removed everything at once.
And there's a significant relationship between what's called consumption and the price of fuel, which is the transportation.
Yeah.
Because transport determines consumption. I can't go and buy goods from the north worth 100,000 and I'm transporting back to Lagos for 150k. That means I'm spending 250,000 naira for crying out loud. So that money I ought to have paid as transport what's called cost. I'll be transferring it to the citizen. Yeah. So we are the ones paying it indirectly. So if this fuel subsidy now is now brought back to some extent, I put it up to that the price of consumption will go back to its original state.
But we have cabals that are enjoying the money.
Yes, now see, in every regime, people must enjoy. If on that government comes and says, okay, it's bringing back fresh subsidy, the same masses will be enjoying. While those persons, those cabals might not enjoy they might be fight. So you can't have a law whereby to favor all sets. Laws are not made to favor all parts of the country or a particular set of persons. So once they bring the law, it's that you favor it does not favor you. This probably removal of fresh is favoring some persons as we speak right now. Whilst majority of the of the masses are complaining.
So I think you are speaking for the average Nigerian.
Yes, the average Nigerians.
What the average Nigerian needs is somebody that will just do something that will reflect positive changes in their own everyday lives.
Yes.
I get your point. So doing...
Well. I don't know, but I think when that time comes, we'll still come back to this topic. You know, when it's time for election in 2027, I think we'll still come back to this. Yes, now to come and check our prediction.
If you are coming back to the topic, if my prediction happens to be right, please show my face. If it's not right, please, I'll be just bloody face a bit. Thank you very much.
No. You should be proud of what you said now.
I said I talked about Tinubu some years back. My friend is using my friend. If you check here, this you see there. You understand? Yeah. My friend has been telling me now that Peter, you're the one that was saying that Tinubu, your mandate, I stand. Now you're not the one criticizing Tinubu. So I don't stand again. No, I beg you, let me guess.
Okay, well. We've been talking about separation of power and the impact of separation of power in Nigerian politics. Yes, we also moved to the coalition. Yes, that is taking place in the country as of now. Yes, so we've talked about everything. We've heard our opinion. We've said what we feel. We've even given our prediction. Yeah. Yes, our guest has given his prediction.
But you've not told us your own prediction.
Hey, Emmanuel. I'll leave it to God. I'll leave it to the viewers. I'll leave it to you as well. Yes. Okay. All right. So you can let us know what you think. You can let us know if the current party is doing what you think they need to do. And if they're not doing up to your expectation, let us know in the comment section. Yeah. You can find us on all social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at LYTE Africa TV. Let us know what you think. Is it the ruling party or is it the coming ADC? Let us know and we'll be glad to have your opinion. We'll catch you next time. Bye.